Not a yes, sir, not a follower. Fit the box, fit the mold, have a seat for you. Take a number. I was lightning before the thunder.
Thunder, thunder.
Lightning and the thunder.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Karoline Leavitt taking absolutely no prisoners today at the White House, torching a reporter for an outlet called The Hill. This is a left-wing outlet, covers Washington, D.C. British reporter who asked a question about the ICE shooting in Minneapolis. Now, as has been proven by every conceivable angle, including the body cam footage and the officer's health records that show that he suffered internal bleeding after being hit by the car that Renee Good was driving, this was an attempted murder on an ICE agent. His shooting was therefore justified. He was protecting his life. This is a matter of fact, and all of the evidence supports it. Nonetheless, journalists still behave like this inside of the White House. Get a load of Karoline Leavitt just ending this man's career.
Earlier, you were just defending ICE agents generally, and earlier on, Secretary Noem spoke to the media, and she said, among other things, that they are doing everything correctly. 32 people died in ICE custody last year. 170 US citizens were detained by ICE, and Renee Good was shot in the head and killed by an ICE agent. How does that equate to them doing everything correctly?
Why was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
Are you asking me my
Yeah.
opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist, and it's so clear by the premise of your question. And you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat. But you're pretending like you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing activist. And the question that you just raised and your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. I bet you never even read about Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungray or all of the innocent Americans who were killed at the hands of illegal aliens in this country. And the brave men and women of ICE are doing everything in their power to remove those heinous individuals and make our communities safer. And shame on people like you in the media who have a crooked view and have a biased view and pretend like you're a real honest journalist.
That is how you do it. She flips the question back around. I have often said this, and I advise this to, anybody who asks me. The power is in the question, not the answer. If you are in a situation and you want to exert power, then you ask the questions, and then you can frame the entire conversation. And most people will just answer, and that idiot answered, instead of saying, "Oh, I don't know, I'm a journalist." Instead of just saying, like, "I'm a journalist, I don't have an opinion." He's like, "Well, here's my stupid left-wing opinion," and then just got gutted by Karoline. Wow. That's just one of the best bait switches I've ever seen from the White House, and exposed entirely exactly how biased these reporters are. Karoline Leavitt going scorched earth also against Tim Walz in this, in this press conference. Tim Walz is engaging in insurrection. Tim Walz last night was like, "You should all keep attacking ICE agents," and then what we saw was an FBI truck and car getting looted and burned by Somali rioters, getting the gun safe pulled out of it, and federal rifles being stolen from this vehicle. They stole documents. Full-on insurrection happening in Minneapolis. Karoline Leavitt having none of it, going scorched earth on Tim Walz.
But I would ask that the governor stops inciting the harassment and illegal obstruction of law enforcement in his state. All ICE and federal law enforcement are trying to do are remove people like this off of the streets of Governor Walz's city in Minneapolis and of his state in Minnesota. If you look at some of the individuals in this photo, these are all illegal alien criminals who came into our country under the previous administration. This is some of the most disturbing crimes you will ever read about. And there's only a few reporters in this room who will actually talk about these individuals. This is all ICE is trying to do. They are trying to remove people like this from Governor Walz's state. And so yes, he should pick up the phone and he should say that he will cooperate with this president and with the federal government in making Minnesota safer, because that's all President Trump and his administration want to do.
As we have covered, the Insurrection Act should be used in situations like this. This is what it's for. Tim Walz is openly and actively trying to insurrect against the federal government. He's going to get someone killed. He's going to get a federal officer killed. And they're going to try and use Minneapolis as ground zero. Now, luckily, I don't think that it's working. They thought that there would be mass ICE uprisings in all American cities. That hasn't happened. The left is like on suicide watch over that, because it's like they thought that they had the power. They thought they could turn this into their new George Floyd moment. Turns out that that's not going to happen. And now they're going to be left with, well, how about we take the criminals in Minneapolis and see if we can instigate something else horrible happening. I'm not even going to say it, but I know what they want to have happen. They want more bloodshed. So, Karoline Leavitt, one more time, just torching the people who have lied about Renee Good, the ICE shooting, and our federal agents. We stand with these activities, and these are federal agents just doing their jobs. Democrats are straight up trying to bring us into civil war. Don't let it happen. Trump crack down right now. Here we go.
To your first point, I think I've addressed that these Democrat governors and mayors in not just Minnesota, but in states across the country are essentially, they've referred to ICE agents who, again, are brave men and women. And I would encourage everyone in this room, and I would encourage Governor Walz and other Democrats who are demeaning law enforcement to sit down and have a cup of coffee with an ICE agent or a Border Patrol agent. These are great, patriotic men and women who have families, who put on the uniform every day and are following our nation's immigration laws at the direction of their bosses and again, at the direction of the law. They are simply trying to enforce the law. And the Democrat Party has demeaned these individuals. They've even referred to them as Nazis and as the Gestapo. And that is absolutely leading to the violence we're seeing in the streets. If you look at some of the images out of Minneapolis last night, look at this vehicle. Look at what it says. It says F ICE. You have these individuals who are putting their middle finger, proudly so, at the camera. Another ICE vehicle that was vandalized last night by these left-wing agitators. People don't do this without encouragement from people in power who make them feel like it's okay. Here's another one. And I'm pretty sure this car, you can't see it, said the best agent is a dead agent, or something to that effect. This is despicable rhetoric that we're seeing, and the media is absolutely complicit in this violence, because if you look at the headline from CNN, protests erupt after federal agent shoots man in Minneapolis, that is not the story, that is not the truth. If you actually want to know the truth, you can look at what the Department of Homeland Security released, which is that this ICE agent was executing a targeted operation against a Venezuelan illegal alien who was unlawfully present in the country, who fled by car and then fled by foot. And when this ICE agent tried to detain the individual, 3 more of his comrades came rushing out of a house and started ambushing and attacking the ICE agent. They used a shovel or a broom to smash his face in. And so yes, that agent had to use self-defense and take up his weapon to protect his own life. That is what's happening on the streets of Minneapolis. That's what's happening on the streets, unfortunately, of these Democrat-run cities and states where you have elected officials who are encouraging such violence against our brave men and women in law enforcement.